What's up friends, today we are going to be taking a look at the extremely popular Onsra 115mm rubber wheels. Do they hold up to the hype of their smoothness, or are they just battery hogs? Find out at the end of this video after I review and rate these wheels. Alright, let's get into some details about these wheels. Right now you can buy these wheels directly from Onsra for $139 USD. You can find different variants of these wheels that are similar at other companies, but usually they come in at 105mm or in a completely different version. So if you're looking to get these wheels, just buy them directly from Onsra. So what makes these wheels unique, and why should you purchase these ones over regular urethane? The first thing you'll notice about these wheels is that they're entirely black. These wheels are made with a rubber compound, and at first glance you might think that this core in the center is made of plastic, like I did, but it turns out it's actually solid aluminum. I'm not sure exactly what version of aluminum it is, but it does add the benefit of making the core much stronger than plastic. However, it does have one downside, and that is that these wheels are quite heavy. Since these wheels are rubber, it puts them in their own category of performance. As I mentioned in the Eovan RF Airless Wheels video, rubber wheels are known for their superior grip on the road and their ability to absorb bumps due to their soft nature. Now, this does come with some downsides, and for us on electric skateboards, one of those is that they tend to consume a lot of battery power. We're going to test that. The second one is that, well, people say that they're not as durable. I'll let you guys know how much rubber loss I have after 100 miles, but I'm not expecting it to be a whole lot. According to Onsra's spec listing, these wheels come in at a durometer of 70A. Durometer ratings can be extremely confusing and are not always accurate, but this is good baseline information to know. For comparison, I have two sets of big 110mm urethane, and they come in at 74A. They also have 72A available, but these are some of the softest urethane wheels on the market. Although technically out of production, the boosted 105mm wheels were actually 72A too. However, these things get really complicated when you start to factor in the extra flexing due to all the holes on these kinds of wheels. So it may feel softer than 70A, it may feel harder than 74A. It's hard to really say until you actually ride them. Let's talk a little bit about the cores on these Onsra wheels. Each of these wheels has a solid aluminum core in it with a standard Kegel hole pattern on it. It uses the same hole bolt circle as a normal Kegel pulley. However, it does come with a catch. If you want to use the extremely popular Boardnamics press fit pulleys, or maybe some other press fit pulleys, you might have to do a little bit of DIY. Your two options are either shortening the pins on the actual pulley or drilling out these holes just a little bit. There's actually a small ledge right in the center of the hole that goes down to a smaller diameter, and it means that you're not able to fully insert the pulleys. I didn't get any B-roll of this, but on my rear wheels I actually drilled out the 5 points where my pulley goes into the wheel. Now that I drilled that out, it is an absolutely perfect fit, and those pulleys are not going to be rattling out. I'm going to go ahead and do a quick weight test on these wheels to see how much they weigh before moving on to the next section. Dropping one of these wheels on the scale real quick, find that it comes out to approximately 593 grams, or 1 pound and 4.9 ounces. If you don't know already, that is quite a lot of weight. I'll throw up a couple other numbers on the screen here so you can have something to compare to. One final thing that I'd like to mention before we move on is that with airless wheels, you have one huge benefit over pneumatics, and that is that there's no way to puncture them. You don't have to take your pump with you, an extra inner tube or anything like that, and you really have nothing to worry about. These aren't going to delaminate, they're not going to pop, and it's really just a nice feeling not having to carry a big old pump in my backpack. You're probably thinking, alright, so you've got your wheels installed on the board, and they're obviously very dirty, so how do they feel? let me tell you, these are probably the most comfortable wheel that I have ever tested, excluding pneumatic tires. Now, these, oddly enough, are actually probably the closest experience to pneumatic tires that you can get, but in an airless application. These Onsra wheels definitely live up to the claims of being smooth on the road, and this rubber is what makes all the difference. When you're carving on a smooth street, the sound that this rubber makes is super premium and really satisfying. Due to the thickness and the softness of this rubber, you have a ton of grip, and across both carving and normal riding has huge benefits. While you're carving, you have a ton of confidence in it that you're not going to slip out on your turns, and on normal riding conditions, these wheels have a ton of ability to absorb all kinds of small pebbles, twigs, gravel, road bumps, and other inconsistencies in general. When you compare this to something with a thin rubber outside like the U of A RF wheels, it makes all the difference. And it's kind of hard to say exactly how thick this rubber is because I don't know how big the core is inside, but this rubber thickness is probably similar to the size of an air tube in a pneumatic wheel. Now, it can't all be sunshine and rainbows, right? Well, almost, but these wheels have one major caveat, and that is their impact on range. These wheels come in at an average of about 27 watt-hours per mile over the 100 miles that I've been riding them so far. Now, this number is very similar to the actual number from pneumatic wheels, and unlike my last wheels review, I actually have all the tracking data. So this 100 miles that I got that average from was a combination of hills, flats, high speed, cruising, and I saw many rides with an average watt-hours per mile rating of 35 and above, mid 30s, some in the 20s, some in the 25s, all over the place. But the fact of the matter is, these numbers are all quite a bit higher than you're going to see with an average urethane wheel. Do keep in mind though that this watt-hours per mile rating that I have on this average is accelerating, decelerating, doing a bunch of inconsistent things, and the rating that we use for the actual RBEM score and for the efficiency is off of our standardized test route that I've done with all the other wheels. In this wheel video and all of my wheel videos going forwards, I'm adding a brand new section called range estimation. In this section, my goal is to help you guys understand the meaning of the watt-hours per mile rating a little bit better. For this section, we've got a small Excel graph that I've created, and you guys can check out some of the numbers here. On the chart, you can see the names of the wheels, their watt-hour per mile rating, which is from our standardized test route, the estimated range for it, and the percent difference. Now, in this particular video, we're going over the Onsra wheels, so the percent difference is based on how much better or worse the Onsra wheels are versus the ratings of the others. Now, in order to get this rating, we've used a standard battery, which is a Molicel P42A in a 12S 4P configuration. This is a standard-ish higher end battery on the DIY side and starting to come into some of the pre-built side. These numbers that you see in the actual range estimation are probably not 100% accurate, but the point is that we use the same exact setup for every single wheel, so your percent difference should be accurate. Now, what do these numbers tell us? Well, this percent difference is interesting, but the actual data tells us what we probably already guessed. The Onsra wheels and the pneumatic wheels come in second to last and last, respectively. Now, these numbers are just numbers, and it's okay to be high, it's okay to be low. The reality is, I'm just trying to help you guys speculate how much range you think you'll get from a specific wheel, and if you can afford to lose or gain that range in your day-to-day commutes. Upgrading wheels on an e-skate is a ton of fun, and for me, I really enjoy getting to try out all different kinds of wheels. So if you guys see wheels that are missing on this chart or in my ratings that you'd like to see me check out, feel free to DM me on Instagram or leave a comment down below. I'll definitely try to get to all the different kinds of wheels, and over time this list will just keep growing. We'll do our standardized test route, toss them in the range estimator, and I'll try to give you guys the best idea of what you can expect from every wheel out there. Right now we're going to jump into a fun little riding montage, and then we'll go right into the RBEM score. I've been talking for quite a long time, so it's time to wrap up the video with the RBEM score. Here are all the categories and their point values, so let's jump right into rating them. Getting into comfort, impact absorption comes first, and these wheels do extremely well. These wheels have the ability to absorb most of the small pebbles and twigs on the road, coming very close to pneumatics. They come so close in fact that they get their first half point of any category with 4.5 out of 5. Next up is rollability. Size is a big part of this category, and at 115 millimeters, these guys are already doing quite well. Adding together their size and the rubber, you get a lot of ease to roll over whatever comes into your path. So you can pretty much forget about the small debris and focus more on the larger rocks and just enjoying your ride. These wheels get a 4 out of 5. Not quite as good as 6-inch pneumatics, but almost. Rolling resistance is our next category, and these wheels do quite well. They are almost as easy to roll as urethane and much better than pneumatics. So you might question where the actual inefficiency comes from. I would have to guess that it is a combination of the softness of the rubber and the weight of the wheels. These wheels get a 4 out of 5 for coming in much better than pneumatics. If you ever tried to carve your board but were scared that you were going to lose traction due to a lack of grip, well, these wheels might be for you. The grip on these wheels is excellent. A combination of the rubber properties and their softness just makes them stick to the road like peanut butter. The grip on these wheels is excellent, and combining the rubber properties with their softness and size, it just makes it super easy to have confidence on the road. These wheels get a 5 out of 5, and if you can't tell so far, I do quite like these wheels. Efficiency is definitely a category where these wheels struggle. Coming in at 25 watt-hours a mile, you get almost the same performance as pneumatics, and these are really not the wheels for you if you're trying to squeeze every last drop of range out of your pack. You could be looking at as much as a 40 to 50% range cut just by going to these wheels. Due to all these facts, I'm going to have to give them a 6 out of 10 on the efficiency scale. The build quality is definitely a strong point on these wheels, and it's pretty hard to find any issues with them. The aluminum cores are nice and strong, well machined, and they seem to be super well bonded to the rubber. I'm definitely not worried about any delamination issues with these wheels, and if I had to complain, it would just be to say that it's kind of annoying that they made the holes slightly more shallow than normal Kegel holes, and that they're smaller and then you have to drill them out. Really not a big deal though, and it's not a hit against the quality, so they get a 9 out of 10. Our final category is durability, and that is something that's a little hard to calculate after only 100 miles, but it seems that both the front and rear have lost nearly a millimeter of rubber in just that 100 miles. So they're decently durable, not as bad as some others, but definitely not as durable as urethane. So unless you're going to be doing burnouts all day, they're probably going to last a very long time. The core is well bonded, and I expect no issues with delamination, so I'm going to go ahead and give these wheels an 8 out of 10 on durability. Bringing all these scores together, we come out with a total RBEM score of 40.5 out of 50. Now this brings them in right behind the torque board 110mm wheels, and that's mostly because of the efficiency. And if these were the most efficient wheel I had, they'd probably be staying on my board permanently. Now, I will be taking these off to move on to the next wheel review, but I'll have to think very, very hard after that if I want to put these back on or go back to my 6-inch pneumatics. Now, overall, this review has been super positive with the Onsra wheels, and I've really enjoyed my time with them. I'm not an affiliate of Onsra, and I purchased these wheels myself. All of the opinions are my own, and my opinion is that these wheels are great. If you're on the fence about buying these, just consider how much range you can afford to give up on your daily commute, and then make the decision to purchase these wheels. Anyway, if you're still here, thank you so much for watching to the end. I hope you enjoyed this review. As always, if you have any comments or questions, leave them down below. And if you have wheels that you want me to test in the future, again, feel free to shoot me a DM on Instagram or leave it in the comments below. Stay safe, keep on riding, and peace out.